All right. I think we should be live. Looks like we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. What's up, guys? I am here today with I'm D King, absolute GOAT on YouTube. We had him here last time, actually, for the one-man Reverie marathon stream, so it's been a while since then. Welcome to the Conqueror's Clash. I'm happy to have I'm D King here. Zach, how's it going, bro? How you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Always happy to have a conversation with you. Looking forward to this prompt.
Yeah.
You're gonna give the breakdown
Yes.
soon. I just got the breakdown. It's sounds like a lot of fun. I'm ready.
Cool, man. Yeah, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate you making the time. Everyone who's in the chat today, thank you for stopping by. We got a fun one. I think today's gonna be a good one. I got some good questions prepared for you, bro. I know your strong points. You know, you have a good theoretical mind with One Piece. You're able to like put the scenarios together. So I have some fun scenarios ready to present you today. But for those that are
to it.
Hell yeah, bro. For those that are getting here for the first time that have never watched one of these before, I'm going to quickly give a breakdown of how these work, and then we're just going to get right into it. Don't want to waste any time because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. So, hello. I see a lot of the usuals. What's up, Marth? What's up, Atlas? How's it going, guys? Chance, thank you for the $5. He said missed the chapter reaction, but I'll make up for it here. All good, man. I'm happy that you're at least able to make it to today's stream. This is the main event for the week. So, all right, so guys, this is the Conqueror's Clash, and this is how it works. For anyone that has not seen one of these before, this is going to be a battle of haki between two legendary pirates. You can think of it like the fight on Bonaro Island or Whitebeard and Roger. And the way this is going to work is we're going to have a bunch of prompts coming up on screen. I'm going to read them out loud for everyone to you'll be able to see them. They'll be coming up in the middle here, and they're separated into three types. It's the three types of haki. You got observation haki. Now these are going to be questions and prompts based around theories and predictions and things that haven't happened in the story yet. And then you got armament haki. So if observation is the theory stuff, armament is the analysis end of it. It's going to be, you know, reinforcing what we already know about the story. That's the armament haki. Those are like would you rather questions, you know, things like that, analysis based. And then finally, we got the Conqueror's haki based prompts, which are what the title Conqueror's Clash comes from. These are going to be the main prompts of the day. These are the big heavy hitting questions, and me and Zach here are both going to give our answers for that, and then at the end of it, you guys are going to vote for which one you liked better, and then the poll bars like moving back and forth. That's going to be the haki clash happening there. And lastly, if we get the voice of all things prompt, that will be your chance, guys, the chat's chance to submit your own question or prompt for us to answer. We'll pick our favorite and then answer that one. So if you have anything you want to ask us, save those questions up, keep them in mind, and if we hit a voice of all things prompt, that'll be your chance to get it in the chat there. So without further ado, you ready to go, man? Ready to get started?
Let's get to it.
Awesome. All right, cool. So let's pull up the first prompt here. What do we got? Okay. We got observation haki. Do you think the Straw Hats will ever be split up again? Now you want to take that one first? We'll switch off with each one. So.
Okay. Split up again. Obviously, I'm guessing you're meaning like fully split up, like we had a lot post time skip. That's an interesting one because as far as Endgame goes, I'm definitely on the boat of like things are gonna move a lot more fast paced. So like when it comes to theories of like, you know, like some like a drastic change in terms of like where we go next and like Luffy getting captured or Robin getting captured. I know those were more popularized during Wano, but I still see some people are still for those types of ideas, especially with this big incident that's about to go down as well.
Sure.
So personally, I think that the story is going to move a lot more quicker. So I would lean towards no, because I think Oda is right now just like really moving forward, and he has his plan in terms of like the time frame, or at least the structure, right? Time frame, usually that gets a little out of hand for him, especially like even these past couple of weeks, right? It's been like chapter break. So like at this pace, I don't think you're finishing in 5 years, Oda. But at the very least, I think when he made those comments about finishing in like 5 years and like we're in the final saga, he definitely has his vision. And I think as far as his vision goes, it's gonna be, one place to another, and we're not really gonna have a lot of chances for detours, especially with a lot of things that we still have to get to, like Elbaf and Blackbeard and Shanks and stuff like that, right? So I don't really personally see the Straw Hats getting split up. I think it's time to really stick together and, like overcome some of these incidents and, start moving towards the path of becoming the Pirate King in the final war. So I would say no right now.
So that makes sense to me, right? Because like the way things are getting paced, it doesn't make sense to have a detour again. The only thing that gets me scared is recent events, and I just want to make it clear we're good to talk about 1081. I actually read the chapter early yesterday so that we could talk about this on stream today. So after recent events,
a lot of L's coming around.
Yeah, a lot of L's coming around, right? So it's like we got Kid and Law on both ends of the spectrum here taking L's, and then we have Luffy that's like smack in the middle. That, is there a possibility that they're gonna at least have some sort of split up happen? That it may not be like all of them get separated from each other, but we may have another like Dressrosa to Whole Cake Island situation where the crew gets cut in half or something temporarily. The only reason I say that is just because we have two groups that were previously, like Law and Kid and all of them were with the Straw Hats. We have two stories kind of playing out on opposite ends, and now we have kind of everything culminating on Egghead. Either everyone's going to come to Egghead, and then some crazy thing is going to go down, and then in that case, who knows what's going to happen. Either that, or the group's going to leave Egghead, and then from there's going to be a potential where I feel like they may have to split groups just because of what's happening. Like whatever countdown is happening on Egghead is going to cause something crazy. Let's say it's a Lucia situation. So part of me just feels like we have Law and we have Kid in different places. We might have a situation where like we split up again. I don't know. I feel like that's something that Oda might be willing to do, just because this is like the Sabaody 2.0 situation, and that's like the only thing. If it weren't for this last chapter, I would have agreed like totally, like there's just no shot. But now I don't know, it's getting me a little bit worried, like
yeah, you make a really good point in the possibility of them potentially splitting up to address these other plot lines.
Yeah,
because that's actually something I didn't really think about, because one thing I was really locked in on is like all these chapters that we're getting away from Egghead, right? We never get this kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like 3 straight chapters that we haven't been with the Straw Hats, like within the arc. Like when have we ever, like even Wano intermissions were like a chapter or 2 at most, right? So when I'm looking at all this is happening, like my like analysis or theory of how it's gonna all come together is that it's all gonna come together in Egghead. That was the only way that it really made sense to me, because like why would we like get chapters upon chapters of like all this action when like classic Oda usually just off screens it and we don't find out about it for like an arc or 2, right? So the fact that we're actually getting all of this, and it's actually not only that, but like happening within like pretty close distance as well to Egghead. Like we just saw Garp go from a close by marine base right to Beehive, so Beehive is actually close by. Kid and Law both went in 2 different directions away from Wano, so they're only like 1 direction away, you know what I'm saying? So like it still makes sense like time wise. That's the number one thing I'm considering, right? Like this big event that's about to go down in 24 hours. Are all of these people gonna come together and get involved? And that's why, we keep seeing all of this stuff. So that's what made the most sense to me in the first place, because I didn't really see how else, we could also address all of these things. I would probably still lean towards that, because I'm not exactly sure, like, who else could get involved in the incident. People have brought up like Dragon, but like location wise, that just doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah,
because we just saw him in, that was like not even the New World. He's in like the Grand Line, like Paradise still. Yes. So he's got to book it all the way to Egghead. That doesn't quite add up to me. The Grand Fleet has also been brought up as an option, but like that's another thing. Like Luffy's Fever card did go out in Wano, but it came back up after he recovered. So like for them to all show up at the same time, arriving exactly during this next incident tomorrow, I'm gonna need a pretty good explanation for how that goes down. So I feel like with all the stuff that we're seeing away from Egghead, I still think it's all gonna culminate in Egghead. But now that you mentioned, like it could lead to like a separation of some sort to address these other issues. But I feel like
Yes.
like it might be a little too sporadic. I'm not sure how to feel about like splitting up the Straw Hats again so soon after finally we got everybody together, right?
I agree with you, and like at the end of the day, like I think the possibilities there more now that we've seen what just happened, but I don't think it's the likely thing to happen. And I agree with you. I would actually rather us stay together. It's like I definitely wouldn't want us to split again. I think it would be a little bit too much, like having the crew apart. You know, you want to kind of bask in this like full Straw Hat environment for a little bit before we split them up again.
Or, like
so,
finally, right?
Yeah, it's just like the way that the tragedies are like piling up, and like these like characters have these expectations. They get smacked down like in back-to-back chapters, like immediately. Just done. Kid's done. Law is done. Like, is that a testament to how good Luffy's crew is? And maybe they're just able to last a lot longer than Law and Kid's. You know, maybe the 3 billion a pop wasn't exactly accurate, and Luffy was the only one really deserving of such a bounty, while the other two kind of got gassed up. Maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe Luffy's not gonna have the same experience they did. I just like. It just feels like a pattern has been set with these last few chapters. It's like Oda shows us, okay, one person fails. Okay, the other person fails. Okay, now we have the third person. What's going to happen to them? Maybe that's where the subversion takes place, but it's just, it's just something that has become a concern of mine, but I agree completely with you. I do think the better way to do it is to keep them together and they escape together somehow, and then it gets resolved that way. So
yeah. And I agree with you. It's definitely a possibility with what we've seen in these past couple of chapters. As far as like this great incident that's about to go down, where would you say, like, what do you think is most likely to happen? Because I think what you described in that, like, this is Oda showing the levels of like, you know, like the 3 billion wasn't quite equal in terms of like, you know, let's be honest, like Law and Kid kind of like got carried by Luffy's clout a little bit.
Very much so.
Very much so, right? So I think this is, to me, this is like showing the levels. Like, yes, they just got 3 billion. Yes, they defeated Big Mom. But like now we're going up against other Yonko and they get destroyed right away. And we're seeing the real horses in this final race, right? Yeah. Shanks, Blackbeard, and Luffy's got to be one of them because he's actually become a Yonko. Even though he has the same bounty, he's the one that claimed that Yonko title, right? So I still think it's most likely he takes a W here and shows the levels to this and proves that he's earned this Yonko title. But do you think it's more likely that we do end up going the Sabaody route, or what do you think?
Well, you know, it depends on a couple things, right? Because in Sabaody we had two very big things happen, and then there's a way that both of these things can get paralleled in Egghead, and the two things I'm thinking of are Luffy punching Charlos, and then the ensuing hell that starts as a result of that, and then the Straw Hats get split up by Kuma because of the punch, basically. So the way I see it is like, if we are doing Sabaody all over again to some degree, I know that, you know, it's not fair to just say the whole second half of the story is going to be 1-to-1 with the first, but let's assume that the pattern continues. We're going to have some equivalent of the Charlos punch that's going to be the trigger for something crazy to happen on Egghead. That's going to start whatever the thing is counting down towards. That's what's going to be incited by that. And then whatever the event is, I can assume that involves Saturn to some degree. So the confusing thing about Saturn is Saturn going to be Charlos, or is he going to be Kuma in this situation? That's the question we got to ask. Is he going to be the
That's what everybody's wondering. Are those old men actually strong?
Yeah.
Or is the other Gorosei just carrying that sword to flex?
Exactly. So yeah. So it's like, is he just Charlos? Like, is it going to be that? Like, is Luffy going to punch him? Is that going to cause a big thing? Are they going to get split up again by, maybe it's going to be by instead of by Kuma, by Bonnie or something like that. Maybe there's something that goes down with whatever Bonnie's experiencing right now. So that's the only way I could see a scenario where they do get kind of mixed up and maybe they don't come out of it perfectly okay. I don't think they're going to take a definitive L, but I think there might be some sort of, I don't know, they might take a hit from this, I feel like, before the end of it. So
I can see that. That's definitely a possibility, and that's what makes it fun, right? It's like
still
kind of unpredictable, even though like you could think one thing's more likely to happen.
Yeah, no, I think that's I think what Oda's going for right now is to keep us on edge. He wants to make it look predictable, and then like, and then he keeps like subverting us. Like even the Aokiji thing with the 10th Titanic captain, it's like I was thinking about this yesterday, but maybe the subversion there was that we were so convinced he was like a secret agent that when it gets revealed that no, he's actually just chilling with the Blackbeard pirates,
just
like
having a blast.
Yeah, it's like that. Maybe that's the twist. You know, let me quickly just answer. I think I got oh, Chance, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships, man. Appreciate it, man. That's really dope. Welcome. I see a bunch of people got their memberships back after it ran out. Welcome back to the gang. Thank you, Chance. Ian, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said really excited for today's clash. Don't forget to like the stream. Yes, guys, please like the stream. Definitely do that. It helps us out a lot. Appreciate it. Let's go to the next prompt, bro. Let's see what we got. We got armament haki. We got okay. Try power scaling the Seraphim. Yonko tier, commander tier. What's their upper limit?
Ooh, interesting. Power scaling's been a hot topic.
It has
these past few weeks, man.
It has.
The Seraphim, not Yonko tier. The thing is, do we think like the Mihawk one is like in a level of its own because it's Mihawk?
Good question.
Right?
Are they proportionate to their like warlord counterparts? Is that how?
Yeah,
that's
like
a good
that. Because
question.
if it is, then there's like, we all know there's not like a warlord tier because they're like so vastly different, right? So if that's the case, then the Seraphims become like a little harder to scale in terms of like their peak potential. But at least like the base and like how much they're tanking the attacks, it's a little harder to judge like their tankiness, because like power scaling, it's always like a weird discussion to have.
Sure.
Because Oda at the end of the day, like he still cares more about the visual and the narrative, right? Like Luffy probably did not need to go Gear 5 to take out Lucci, but he wanted that visual of like that, you know, that throwback to Innie's lobby and having that moment, both of them awakened. That's just like way cooler than him, and he's not thinking like, oh wait, it doesn't make sense. Like Luffy needs to go into So as far as like the Seraphim like taking all these hits right now from like Luffy and stuff like that, I don't know if I could take that like at face value really, because I think he's trying to show that the Seraphim are very strong. I think at the very least they're probably around Yonko commanders, you have to say, with the potential to get even higher, especially as they grow older, if they get the chance to do that, and especially if they're proportionate to the people they're replicating, like the Mihawk one, you know?
I feel like the commander tier is appropriate, but at the same time, part of me worries that they're like Yonko tier. Like we're dealing with like Yonko tier.
I mean, that would be maybe as a whole.
You know,
because that was what they were trying to replicate, right? The warlords are supposed to be like one section that kind of balances the scales, right?
Yeah. I think the thing that really gets me is the regeneration, and they don't seem to have the obvious weakness that King had. So if if these are opponents that can just kind of continuously heal through whatever damage you send at them, and also considering that the Seraphim are supposed to be juvenile, right? Like they're in their young stage now. They're not even fully grown.
I mean, they're just getting started.
Yeah, like that's the thing that scares me. Like these guys are potentially the strongest characters in the story, or at least they're set up to become the strongest characters. Maybe they aren't right now, but like I would think like if this is what they're like right now, a fully grown Seraphim would have to be at the same level as like I feel like they could stack up to someone like Kaido, you know, because they have
fully grown.
Yeah, like
max
fully
potential,
grown.
I would agree.
Yeah, right now it's hard to say because we haven't seen them do too much. I think Yonko Commander is definitely a fair estimate. It's really just that regeneration that throws me for a loop, because it's like, how do you beat that, right? Like, there's probably going to be a weakness we learn about, but for now, it seems like they have all the benefits of being Lunarians, plus devil fruits, plus they were made in a lab, and they have, you know, all the extra pacifista tech. It's pretty crazy. They have a lot of resilience.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like they got everything in the bag. The only thing I would ask is like, what do you think when it comes to haki? because we saw Zoro kind of tear through King in the end just by using advanced conquerors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the upper limit, and that's like one of the defining features of like people in the Yonko tier is the ability to use that, advanced conquerors haki plus other things. So like, do you think like so far we haven't? I don't think we've seen any like use of haki from them, right?
We haven't.
Am I wrong?
I don't think.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
think we have. Wait a second.
Have
Did
we?
we? I think we might have on when Blackbeard pulled up to the Kuja pirates. I might be misremembering that, but part of me feels
it's
like there
I
might have
to go
been
back and-
hockey that came out there with the Mihawk Seraphim possibly, or something.
But either way, I
don't
would say
think
that
so.
would probably be the area where they're gonna lack. Like I don't expect any one of them to eventually get to like advanced conquerors hockey. Like to replicate that would be pretty crazy. And if they're able to do that, then Vegapunk's the go. Like he just recreated Mihawk, and pumped him with green blood and gave him a devil fruit. That would be crazy.
That's what I'm
And
anticipating.
yeah,
It's like, because like the way he talked them up, he's like, these are the best, like these are the most powerful weapons in the history of the sea. Like I made the most powerful weapons. Basically, that's what he said. Like these are the most powerful beings on the ocean. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like I get that they're designed to be powerful, but how do they stack up compared to everyone else? It depends on really what they're capable of doing. And like the real differentiating factor is going to be the haki, I guess.
Yeah.
But if Luffy and Zoro, so far it didn't seem like Luffy and Zoro were having an easy time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of just assuming they're putting the haki into their attacks by default at this point. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, it's like I don't know how much to take away from that because I feel like Oda's trying to flex the Seraphim a little bit. And the other part I would say is like because haki is so closely tied to willpower, how high could their haki grow if they quite literally don't have any control of themselves, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And someone in the chat said that they might have the durability of a Yonko, but that may not necessarily mean they have the strength, right? So that could also be the way it works, where they're really, really tough, but they're not like, it's not like every time you get hit by a Seraphim, you're getting hit by like a Big Mom or like a Kaido type move or a Shanks type move, you know?
Sanji's eating them right now. Sanji's eating them for breakfast right now.
Yeah. So that's a good point. All right, cool. Let's go to the what do we got next? We got another observation hockey one. This one's relevant. This one says, "Who is the man marked by flames?"
Okay, yeah. So after this most recent chapter, I'm pretty convinced it's Dragon. Because a lot of the hints tend to go towards that direction. There was a really good comment made but on Reddit when I was reacting to the chapter. The user's name was Jail Chris Brown, so I want to give him credit. So he had all these bullet points that were pointed out, right? There was like the obvious stuff where like the things we found out in this chapter, which is like the whirlpools. And of course, we've seen Dragon with most likely some sort of ability to manipulate the weather. Also, the comment about the jet black ship, which in the manga, his ship is shown to be completely jet black. So that's two things matching up already just from this chapter. Some people have also pointed out Baltigo, Blackbeard attacking Baltigo at the time when that happened. That was like okay, that's kind of a weird thing. There's definitely got to be some reason he did that. And now if we connect it to the conversation we find out from Blackbeard and the Blackbeard pirates in this chapter, maybe he eventually got information that Dragon does have the road poneglyph and that's why he attacked it. And then beyond that, I think one of the more interesting points is that in the Road to Laughtail, when it was asked where the last road poneglyph is, Vera was kind of randomly mentioned, right? Like it was like Beehive and the other island that made sense, and then out of nowhere Vera was thrown in, and everybody was like, it was like, what the heck? Why is Vera thrown in there? And Vera was a place that was overrun by the Revolutionary Army. So could that just be a hint that
that's
it's
interesting,
involved with the revolutionaries? I feel like with all of these things adding up, right? Yeah.
Oh. Shout
out Jail Chris Brown, man. Like he really broke it down. I was like, I see the things, and then he mentioned Baltigo. I was like, oh, I've seen a couple people mention that, and then he brought up the Vera thing. I was like, oh, okay, you're really onto something here. And then he got into some like headcanon about maybe like the tattoo is covering his burn mark and stuff like that. But yeah, he made some really good points. So I would lean towards Dragon right now.
You know, it's funny. People in my stream yesterday were actually talking about the same concept, and we came to an idea for the tattoo that it's actually a brand and not a tattoo. So that might be the way he's marked by flames, quote unquote. You know, instead of it being like an actual tat. You know.
Yeah, I believe like he even said it was headcanon himself in the post. He said his headcanon was Dragon was at God Valley, and that's where he met Kuma, and he decided not only to rescue them, but also saw like their slave marks, so he decided to like burn one on himself to like kind of like represent them as well. And then he's kind of been living like this dual life. On like one side, he's the man with the burn mark, kind of like inspiring people, and then on the other side, he's like the Revolutionary Army Dragon that's actually leading the charge, right? And then one final point was that the last time that we saw the poneglyph was in Fishman Island. And so for somebody to take it from there, they either have to have a connection or have to have some, or like, I guess they could have taken it by force as well. But Dragon's like ultimate goal is like equality and stuff like that. Kind of the same message that Otahime believed. So I think he probably could have been able to convince, you know, like Neptune and them to give him the road poneglyph to look after as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm trying to timeline it, and I think the only thing with the in the post that he made where he was talking about the Dragon meeting Kuma on God Valley, the only reason that timeline doesn't work, at least regarding the tattoo, is just because. Well, no, not even the age. When we saw Dragon at Roger's execution, he didn't have the tattoo. So he got the tattoo after Roger died. At some point after that. Unless that was retconned, I'm not sure. Did we see a tattoo on Dragon when he met with Vegapunk at O'Hara? I don't think so, right? He didn't have a tattoo. No.
I think he had one on his arm, maybe.
Okay, yeah. So that's after. Yeah, it's after Dragon, or after Roger died, that he got it. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dragon idea is cool. The only thing that like I'm hung up on with that is like, why do people refer to him by a different name, and why is he referred to so mysteriously, right? Because Dragon's already infamous for being Dragon. So it's like I feel like people would just say, oh, Dragon, you know, the revolutionary has the last road poneglyph, and people would kind of just be pretty more, you know, they'd be more open about it. So like for me, if I had to go with someone that isn't Saul, if Saul's not causing whirlpools and riding around in a black ship, which I don't think he is, the question is like, can't be him. I don't think it's I personally don't think it's Dragon, just because of those reasons. If it's someone else, who could it be? The only other people that come to mind are like maybe Rox is still alive somehow, and like people don't know. And another one people were talking about yesterday is Scopper Gaban. And I like the idea.
I'm giving up on him at this point. I was just like, he's not showing up.
I know, but like, so like, I gave up on him too. That's why the idea didn't even cross my mind until someone in my chat said it, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck, Scopper. Like, I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, it could be him. So like, think about this situation, and this is what I took the Scopper thing and ran with it, and I was like, okay, let's say it is Scopper. Well, now we know a couple things. We know that the ship is jet black. It's like totally, it could be charred. It could have been a ship that was burned at some point, or attempted to have been burned. Well, what ship would they have attempted to burn? Possibly the Oro Jackson. Maybe because the Oro Jackson was the Pirate King's ship, the world government attempted to burn down the Oro Jackson, and then Scopper saved the ship from burning, and in the process got burned and got covered in burn marks, and now sails around on the burned Oro Jackson and has the last road poneglyph. He got it from Fishman Island, and you would know it's there because he went there with Roger, and they read the poneglyph there. So he knew it, took it on the ship maybe, and they're sailing around. And then think of this timeline, like, or not timeline, but like think of this order. You enter the Grand Line, you meet Crocus. You get halfway into the Grand Line, you meet Rayleigh, and then you get to the end, and now we're talking about the man marked by flames. Maybe that's where they meet Scopper, and that's how this all comes together. And the reason he's referred to by this nickname or whatever is because, just like Rayleigh, he's been laying low. No one knows that Scopper Gaban's still alive and wandering the ocean. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe you know.
Yeah, so. I dig that. I like that idea a lot. Listen, I want Scopper to come back. I thought there was a chance he might have returned in Wano. but I feel like it's just been so long and there's been not really a mention of him at all in the present story that I'm just like, I'm not gonna expect him to show up. But the way you described it, listen, it's like that meme. Don't give me hope. All right? Don't give me hope.
Yeah, it's a little headcanon-y, you know, but like I just feel like there's a way, you know, like it works. It works.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It'd be real fun.
Yeah,
he could be like the gatekeeper, right? Like you mentioned, it's like the beginning, and then he's like he has the last one. Until you go through him, you can't make it to Laugh Tale.
Exactly. That's the way I see it. I feel like Oda, I feel like Oda has intentionally built a little bit of hype for that character, whether or not he ends up being this like, you know, like this mythical Roger crewmate that we think. I think he'll come into play somehow, and maybe this is it. Maybe he's just the man marked by flames, and there's like a little thing with him that comes out of this. So let me quickly.
Could be even a new character.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, a new character was something. Before I get to the super chats, a new character was something I discussed yesterday too, and I feel like with the new character thing, it's like, is Oda gonna bring us? Is he gonna give us an entirely new character at this stage of the game?
Yeah.
Because we already have some characters that are still in silhouette mode right now that we need to reveal. Yeah. So it's like, you know, like, are we gonna introduce brand new people now? I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, it's Oda. Yeah. He'll introduce new characters anywhere, but. You know, at the same time, it's like I almost want it to be a cleaner.
Not as likely,
Yeah, like wrap things, like tie up the loose ends that we already have. You know.
I feel you.
All right, let's see. I think I missed some stuff. Grizzly Adams, thank you for the $5, bro. He said, my theory: S-Hawk has the dice fruit because he's gonna turn himself into a full body, living, breathing Black Blade. That is the that's the official
Our vision, right?
Yeah, K Maya said it best. He said, dude super chatted the incantation to summon Parvision. Let's go. Yeah, Par's gonna be in the chat any minute now. Chance, thank you for the 5, bro. Chance, thank you for the 5 additional memberships. Let me play the at this point I have to play the welcome to the new members movie real quick. Hold on. All right, young Usopp, thank you for the $5 donation. In Robin's flashback, it was said that her mom was on a pirate ship. Vegapunk said a certain man found the tech on Egghead. Perhaps it's Robin's dad. Interesting idea. I know a lot of people have been like interested in the Robin's dad concept more so lately than ever, just because of like the O'Hara coming back into relevance sort of thing. Yeah, if there's like a new, like I think this was the one that people were saying yesterday. Like, if Oda's gonna introduce a brand new character, it could be like a Robin's dad situation. But my only objection to this is that Saul is essentially Robin's dad anyway. Like, he fulfills all those roles. He was a O'Hara survivor. He was involved with Olvia, and he had a friendship with Olvia. He developed a friendship with Robin and kind of took care of her when no one cared about her. He's still alive. He happened to survive. He's also covered in burn marks. So it's like, you know, if Robin has a dad in the story, I feel like it's a little bit redundant because like Saul kind of serves that purpose already. But that's my only objection to that specific character. But thank you for the 5, Usopp, and welcome to all the new members. Let's move along. Hopefully, oh man, I was hoping we got a Conqueror's next. Another armament hockey. How many of the current Straw Hats could have beaten Rob Lucci back at Enies Lobby? So like if you transplanted any of the current 10 Straw Hats back to Enies Lobby, are there any that wouldn't have beaten Rob Lucci back there? Do you think they all currently are able to take on Lucci?
Back then, let's see. Obviously, the top 4, clear.
Clear.
I think Frankie also wins. Frankie's slept on a lot, I think, these days.
I agree.
Always done dirty by the bounty as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Robin, Demonio, Floor. I think Demonio, Floor should be able. Man, it's tough to skip because like some of the battles with the Toby Ropa happen so quickly, and you just wonder, it's like, how long can she actually last in that form?
It's rough.
She back in? Yeah.
Once you get halfway down the list, it gets harder to
yeah. I don't think Usopp does. I think Chopper. Chopper monster point. Oh, the thing is, like, it's crazy to put in perspective, right? Because he could do it for like, what is it, 30 minutes with Caesar's Rumple Ball, right? That he could go into controlled monster point.
Yes.
And then you just remember monster point in Enies lobby and how devastating and powerful it seemed back then. And if he's able to run in that controlled, so even though it doesn't look as scary, it's still pretty. I think Chopper might take it. I think honestly, in 30 minutes, he could. I think he may be able to wrap it up in 30 minutes. Nami with Zeus, I don't know. I think Lucci
really?
Lucci might be able to eat an attack or two, and then we all know Nami's kind of like a glass cannon, whereas like.
Well, hold on. She can do her mirage stuff. She got some ways to trick. She can trick Lucci. She can trip him up. I agree. I don't think she wins, but I think she puts up a good fight. I think she would because the Zeus firepower is crazy. It is.
And she doesn't even have to do most of the work sometimes. Like against Ulti, like Zeus carried.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think she would that would be a like low-key high to extreme diff fight for Nami.
Yeah, I agree.
I would probably take Lucci still.
Okay.
And then Brook. Man, Brook's a tough one because to this day he still hasn't really had a 1v1.
Yeah, I know. It's
like
difficult. He's
had his moments. Hokage Island was amazing for him, but it was just like epic moments that like he just came in clutch, really, right? I think Lucci probably still wins against Brook. Even though Brook, because like Brook, during Wano, he took out a number, and that was kind of like we kind of glossed over that, but he did take out a number. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen like enough firepower
out of Brook
from Brook, to quite take it, you know. And like his defense is like he's not like glass cannon, but I wouldn't say like his defense is like super strong either, like kind of middle of the pack. So I might still take Lucci there, and then I'll probably give it to Robin because Demonio Floor did show some pretty high attack power, and I think she could take some damage.
I'll be real, man. I think Oda has nerfed the hell out of Robin's fruit, and it's like even now I still think she takes it because like Demonio Floor was crazy. Everything like knowing that she can use haki on top of her devil fruit makes it so that she can pretty much
it could be like the most broken fruit ever if she learned haki. Like
well doesn't she have armament though? Isn't that what Demonio Floor
with Demonio
confirms?
Floor is it confirmed?
Isn't that what I feel like that's what it confirms? It doesn't it doesn't like overtly say like Robin can use armament, but like how else do we describe what's happening?
I don't know. It's just a weird thing that like it's just like she also turns into like a demon. So like what about haki does that? It's just like classic Robin. It's like she's just not gonna tell us.
It's like if there's a cutoff, it's probably around like maybe like Robin is the gatekeeper, and then like everyone that's not as strong as Robin probably doesn't win that fight. I feel like maybe she's like the bottom of that list because like did you say Usopp? Did we get to Usopp?
Oh yeah, no, Usopp's getting bodied.
He's getting bodied.
Yeah.
Current Usopp. Maybe later he learns something. But... Okay. All right, that's fair. I pretty much agree with you. I can't think of any matchup.
Chopper? 30 minutes of Monster Point Chopper. Do you think he takes it?
Okay. So hold on. Let me talk about that. So Chopper, I feel like Chopper in Monster Point was a little overhyped because it was against Kumadori. And I think Kumadori is like one of the weakest CP9 members. And then what was the other person that encountered Monster Point Chopper? Was it Khalifa? I think Chopper busted through the ceiling or it busted through the floor. So it's like between Khalifa and Kumadori getting intimidated by Monster Point, do I think the same thing would happen with Lucci or Kaku? I feel like with those two guys specifically, they're just like a different breed. Like Lucci would see Monster Point Chopper, maybe he'd be like slightly intimidated by it, but he'd still clap out because
regain his composure really quick.
Because like remember when he fought against Luffy did like he turned his arm and leg into a giant arm and leg, and Lucci just kind of took it in stride and just kept fighting. So like
true. At 30 minutes is a long time.
30 minutes is a long time, but that's also 30
up Queen.
But that's 30 minutes in the ring with Rob Lucci too. Like 30
True.
minutes, you know, it's not just Chopper. It's like that's also a guy that has like 6 king gun. Like he's gonna be shaving. He's gonna teleport behind you. He's gonna 6 king gun you. You know, like that's like a dangerous dude. You know, like that's
True. Good point. Good
yeah.
point.
All right. Let's. Oh, I think we got another set of gift subs. Thank you so much, Ian. Thank you for the 10 gift memberships. Appreciate it, bro. All right. I think we're all caught up on super chats and stuff like that. Welcome to all the new members. All right, what do we got next? Oh, okay. Wow, we are stacked on armaments today. Pick your favorite Straw Hat and describe your favorite post-time skip moment from them. I think I actually had this question in a previous one, and I kept it in here because I like it so much, and I think it tells us a little bit about your tastes as a creator, you know, regarding One Piece. So I've shared my answer to this before, but if you want a second to think about yours, I'll kind of think of another one. For mine.
Sure. The moment I would have to think about, because my favorite Straw Hat is Luffy.
Okay.
I think it's just like the way he carries himself.
Yes.
With, you know, like not just the goofy nature, but the way he's able to just understand when shit goes down without like hearing any stories or anything. He just knows, right? He just understands people and like his strong dream of and belief of freedom and everything just that he characterized it, even though he gets a little silly sometimes and make mistakes and could be just the dumbest guy in the room sometimes. It's just like when shit goes down, you always could count on him to make the right decision over some of the smartest people in the room even. As far as favorite moment, I would have to think about for a minute for post-time skip.
So favorite post-time skip Luffy moment. I'll give you... So... My last time I gave my answer, it was my favorite Straw Hat is Robin. I usually, it's always in parentheses because Luffy is my favorite, definitely, because he's like, you know, he has the most development. So I love him. I really love him. But like, definitely out of all the Straw Hats, like which one, aside from him, I have a lot of love for as a character. It's Robin. And my favorite post-time skip moment from her was pretty much her whole mini arc in Onigashima. Like that whole thing of like trusting her friends or like her friends trusting in her, and then coming to like face her demons and face her past and accepting the identity of Monster, and then going demonio floor is like one of the best I feel like that's like one of the best developments for a Straw Hat I've seen, and that it's like up there with like Nothing Happened for me. Like not at the same level, but it's like in the same general tier in terms of like wow moments, and I think the anime elevated it big time. If I had to give another one, maybe I'll pick a different Straw Hat. What's another Straw Hat I really like? I do like Sanji a lot. I think Sanji is one of my favorites as well, and my favorite post-time skip moment from Sanji would probably have to be the moment that he dropped onto the table with his family there at the wedding. And he's standing there in the middle of the table with his like flaming, he's like in the wedding outfit. He has like the flaming legs, and his whole family, like all the Germa, are just sitting there stunned that he's like the hero. The only criticism I have about that scene is just Chopper being there on the left, and he just kind of ruins. He kind of ruins the whole.
He's just chilling there.
He's just like there with his backpack. He's looking all tough and shit. Yeah, he photobombed the hell out of that. So that's the only critique I have there. But that's. Yeah, that would have to be my alternative.
Yeah, for Luffy, actually, I think the first thing that came to mind, it's not even specifically a moment. I guess multiple moments tie into this. But Wano, as much as I had critiques for that arc, I think one of the storylines that I really connected with is Luffy and his relationship with Tama. And, right off the bat, when we get into Wano and how he, really learns about Tama and like what the country is going through. So the two moments that came to mind was like in the beginning when he's finding out about how they're wasting the red bean soup, and like, right away that triggers him. And even the grand finale with Kaido when he's like delivering that message out about how everybody needs to be, how he wants everybody to be able to eat, and he's thinking back to Tama. And I think those two moments probably hit hard, like home for me more so because I really enjoyed like the relationship that he developed with Tama. Because I think Act 1 was probably I was like near perfect for me, and how Luffy was able to kind of meet everybody and really get to know Wano. And that's like I feel like we kind of lost that a little bit as the story progressed, but like the moments in Act 3, like him learning about the waste of food and the final moment against Kaido kind of brought that back, and I really appreciated that.
That's a great point. Honestly, like, I don't think about it. I never really thought about it that much, but like the introduction for Luffy into Wano, I really like.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's great, and it's like it's nice that his point of relation to Wano is not like it's not just like another princess or something. It's a child. It's like it's Tama, like it's a kid, like an innocent kid that's like being put through the ringer because of a shitty shogun and all this stuff. So like when you see how much this poor like innocent kid that lives in the forest had to struggle just to get some food and then offered it to Luke and she gave it to him. Like that's one of the best ways to get us invested into a locale and the people there. I really do love that. And yeah, you know, I don't think about it much because when you now when we think about Wano, when we talk about Wano, it's just like a flood of images from like the last like 30% of it, but like no, there's some good stuff in the beginning, man.
Some good stuff in there for sure.
It's a great point. All right, what do we got? Oh, we got this one's not a prompt. It just says subscribe to I'm D King. So everyone follow the prompt, go do that, go sub to him right now. All right, wow, the randomizer on this must have put all the Conquerors ones right at the end. I got whatever.
Sort of strong clash at the end. We're gonna
rip
them off.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, like. All right. Armament haki. Let's say Luffy doesn't get the Gum Gum fruit. How does his adventure change?
Ooh, how does his adventure change? Well,
obviously there's a lot to cover, but like some things that come, like any big major points that come to mind, you don't have to step by step it, you know, like anything, like for example, like is there a situation that he had the Gum Gum fruit in that if he didn't have it, it would have made, you know, something play out differently? Like,
well, off rip, like he probably learns how to swim, right, eventually. So like
yeah, that's
when he goes into that whirlpool, he doesn't have to like barrel like just survive by a barrel just like by luck. So that's probably the first thing.
Luffy versus Arlong is a very different fight.
True.
Yeah, it's a very different fight.
How strong would he get without, I mean, he'll still be like ridiculously strong, but like one of the like best things about him, right, is like the Gum Gum fruit fits him so well is because he's so creative, right? Like he's like trying to recreate a pistol and all of these different things. And like, so from day one, he was saying my fist is going to be as strong as a pistol. Like, so like a lot of these creative attacks, like how is he going to recreate them? Like
maybe he just becomes like
Fusen and stuff like that.
He can't, no, he can't. Yeah. He's gonna,
I mean, he can still like pistol and Gatling and stuff like that. But like his arsenal, I feel like that really limits his arsenal.
Yeah. He's going to be forced to like use haki to be creative, right? Like that's probably the only way. He's going to have to do some creative shit with haki. Like Garp,
so does he? Yeah. So does he leave as early? Because I don't. He's not gonna learn haki right off rip. But at the same time, Ace left still when he was 17, and he was still chilling.
He didn't have a fruit.
Got the fruit. Yeah.
So I mean, Luffy probably would have left at the same time. I think he would have had to rescue Zoro a different way because the way he did it was he tanked all the bullets for Zoro. So he wouldn't be able to do that without the fruit. So he would have to do it differently. Maybe he doesn't even rescue Zoro because of that. Who knows? Well, actually, let's think about this. If he can swim, he never actually ends up in the barrel, and thus he never meets Kobe, and he never ends up meeting Zoro. So
I would imagine he probably gets another devil fruit pretty quickly too. Yeah, because he just like Ace ate that fruit just like randomly as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, no,
where he was just like, I'm hungry, and then he just picked it up and ate it. I think that like Luffy's gonna come across like a fruit, he'll just eat it.
Yeah, I mean, what out of curiosity, if there was another fruit that you would give Luffy and you think would like serve his creativity well, is there any that come to mind there?
Honestly, like the first one that came to mind is actually Prince Gruce's clay one. Oh, because I'm just thinking about like molding stuff, right? Like actually creating stuff. So that could be a fun way instead of like just molding himself. Now he's just like literally just like creating clay soldiers and like whatever he wants, that kind of stuff.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, I think Wow, now that you put it that way, yeah, like a fruit that lets him create things. That
Yeah,
would be huge.
like Logia was the first thing that came to my mind, and then I thought about the clay thing just popped up because like we just saw it so recently.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if he if he got like smoker's fruit or something, he would be like it would be like Gear 5, but without any of the cool stuff.
Yeah,
it's like
just the smoke,
just the visuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next? All right.
Oh yeah, somebody in the chat said Mochi no Mi, obviously, yeah.
Oh yeah, Mochi
It's
no
like,
Mi
yeah.
would be, yeah, that'd
It's
be,
like, yeah.
that's a shame, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. This is another armament. Which scene encapsulates One Piece as a series better than any other? If you had to pick one scene to just say this is One Piece, like,
Ooh, this is One Piece. See, I'm trying to just like the first two words that popped up is like world building. I'm trying to figure out like what scene encapsulates world building the most, and that would probably be Marineford would be the first one that comes to my mind. But then personally, like the world building is so good, but like what I still love to this day and what got me hooked on the series from day one. Right? Like I wasn't one of the people that had to wait until like Baratier or like Arlong to like really get into the series. From day one, it was always like the crew building and like the Avenger, that aspect of it. The Straw Hats are my favorite part of the story. So, like, it's got to be like a party scene. It's got to be like the Skypiea party scene or like another iconic party scene where it just encapsulates that like that friendship and like that sense of adventure and freedom, you know? Although the world building, obviously, that's the thing that takes that like the core aspect of like the friendship and freedom and just blows it up to like a scale like no other. But for me, I would still pick like a party scene like the Skypiea one of Oda's favorite scenes as well, just because that's what connects to me the most still.
No, that's a good point. The parties being like, you know, when you think of One Piece, we think of all the drama, but the parties are what pays off at the end after all the drama's over. And that's what like that's the kind of like satisfying endpoint for an arc that kind of like culminates like it kind of like the whole question I just asked was like what encapsulates One Piece. Well, what encapsulates every arc? It's like the way they celebrate at the end.
Yeah,
all the good guys, you know, celebrating a W. That's like a huge thing. That's a good point. I was thinking like my answer was way more boring. I was just gonna say some shit like I want to live or something like, you know, like, but no, that's a good I think that does capture more of what One Piece is about, or at least like what Luffy is about, right? Like that definitely captures what Luffy is about. As a series as a whole, like if I had to give it to like one moment, maybe it's I would say it's somewhere on Jaya or Skypiea. Something about Jaya. I'm trying to think of which scene it would be, but something about that arc. Or like those two arcs.
Jaya was incredible. Yeah. It's like that was the first time we met some of the warlords.
Yeah.
Obviously the Bellamy stuff.
I think that's really where it feels like One Piece. Like
it's a way bigger story, right?
Yeah. That's where I really get the sense of like the story from that arc onward. So maybe I think if there's one thing I had to say is like captures One Piece the best, maybe it's the scene where all of them are talking to Cricket. And they're talking, they're reading through Nolan's log and talking about like the hidden treasure and how they're gonna get up to the sky and all the stuff. And like, yeah, it kind of ties in with yours where they're all like drinking and partying, but that sense of adventure and that sense of like, we have to go to this place and there's like a legend that we're not sure if it's true. And this is my like long time ago, this is my ancestor and like all this stuff. Like that really felt like that gave me that sense of adventure like no other part of the story up until that point.
Like because like when you first find out about like the Sky Islands, you're like, nah, this is not happening. Like it's like actual Sky Islands. And then when you actually like I still remember to this day, like when you actually start that adventure towards and just you're about to explore like a brand new world almost, right? So I'm right there with you.
We got another armor. I'm gonna skip this. Oh my god, I want to find a good Conqueror's Clash one because there's one in here that I think would be good. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay, well we're gonna go back because it looks like I can't find one. Let's see. All right, King, tell me. Pick a villain you enjoy. What would you say is their defining moment, like the moment that kind of like symbolizes that villain the best, or like their best moment.
Man, it's interesting because I think some of the earlier villains in One Piece, like Arlong and Crocodile and Enel, they didn't really need to have this like deep backstory.
Yeah.
To hit home, right? They were just like, they just had their own agendas and to be the bad guy, and they played that really well. But if I have to pick like a defining moment for a character, I feel like it has to go to a deeper villain like Doflamingo. And it, because like his flashback as a villain, I don't think anybody quite compares to it. But at the same time, I might go Katakuri. I might go Katakuri, and just like the way he was defeated, and like him standing over Luffy at the end there, and then in the end just gives up, falls down, and then just say, "Hey, you're coming back to defeat Big Mom one day, right?" And then it's just like he just admits defeat there. I think I'm gonna have to go Katakuri.
That's my goat, bro. I respect it. Katakuri, his final moments are probably some of the most memorable moments for like an antagonist in One Piece for me.
Yeah,
definitely. If I could give it to someone that's not him, I would maybe pick, oh man, maybe Doflamingo's an easy. Doflamingo's too easy. Doflamingo's
someone
too easy.
in the chest at Blackbeard as well, and like obviously he has his Jaya moment.
It's his Jaya moment. It is.
Yeah.
It's like it's the Jaya moment for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's like that's what defines him as a character. Aside from him, I would say like Kaido. I'll say Kaido. Let's do Kaido. I think this is a challenge because
spicy.
I actually genuinely find defining Kaido a challenge because it feels like his character does like 10 different things, like briefly. Yeah. And what is like a moment that really symbolizes Kaido as a character? Probably.
If he actually killed Kinemon, that would
that would have been it. That would have been it. That would have been the most unforgettable villain moment for me and the whole story, probably. Yeah. That would have been like the closest thing to Akainu, like Ace, like that. Yeah. But no, that didn't happen. Probably like I would say the Odin, but that's Odin's thing. Okay, how about this? Kaido's defining moment for me has to be when he is talking to Luffy about like how much he's enjoying the fight, and they both just have like a laugh about it. Yeah. And they're both just enjoying the nature of the fight, and they don't even care. Like all the stuff that's on the line, all the drama that built up to this moment, it's like both those characters forgot about all that, and they're just there for the fight. They're just
having
like
a blast.
Yeah. That probably is like, I don't think there's any other character in One Piece that's done that with Luffy. Like that any other person Luffy's fought that's like, I'm enjoying this. Like we're just having fun fighting right now. That's not a thing that happens. So like when it happened, I do remember me thinking like, wow, Kaido's kind of a boss for this one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that one.
All right, so I found us a Conqueror's haki question finally. So let's do this. Okay, scenario: Sabo stays dead and never gets Ace's fruit. Who should get it instead, and why? Let's say you were Luffy, you had the fruit, you could give it to any character in the story. Sabo never gets it.
The fruit.
Yep.
I'm guessing like a Dressrosa. That would
sure.
When, like,
Or let's say maybe it's not even like limited to Luffy. Let's say you are Oda and you just don't have the character Sabo to work with, but you have to give someone the Mera Mera fruit. Like who do you end up giving it to?
This like he wouldn't eat it, but I feel like in terms of a character that like represents like a family figure, like Ace did to Luffy, someone that looks over him and challenges him and takes care of him, and it would also be just the craziest idea. I would give it a Shanks.
Oh,
yeah. I think there's no other person that would quite like hit home. Like if you think about like who Luffy would allow to eat that fruit, it would probably be maybe people in his crew. someone like maybe like Zoro, or like Shanks, someone I think he treats like as a family member essentially. I think outside of Sabo and Ace and the Straw Hats, Shanks is the guy that he would treat as like someone he looks up to, someone he cares about deeply, and like in sort of like close to like family like bond that he has. Also, it would make Shanks insane.
Dude, he has like a burning sword thing, right? Because like volume 4 billion or whatever, that would kind of be busted. Like if you just had Shanks. Yeah, right.
Obviously, I don't think he would eat it because like his whole crew does. Like at least the commanders don't have devil fruits and stuff. But I'll give it to him.
Okay. So you want to give it to Shanks?
Yeah.
I'm caught between two right now. You mentioned the crew, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this one. I'm just thinking Sanji. Like you give it to, you give it to Sanji. The man just turns into fire. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's probably the best cook out there because he could just cook stuff without even a stove at that point.
Yeah.
Aside from him, yeah, the other one I was thinking of is maybe like out of anyone that Luffy trusts, maybe like a Kobe.
Yeah,
situation.
I see a lot of people in chat saying Kobe too.
Kobe would be cool. People are saying so like Kobe's okay. I don't love it. I think the Sanji one's more of a fit for me. But like it would have to be like someone Luffy is friends with or trusts.
Exactly.
Another one that I like is another Straw Hat, and it would be Brook. But it wouldn't work.
Ooh.
Oh wait, Brook already has his. It already has his devil fruit. I was thinking of like a Ghost Rider situation, where like he's like a flaming skeleton. That's what I was thinking. But like wait, he can't. He already has a devil fruit. That doesn't work. Okay, yeah. So if I had to give it, if I'm gonna give it to someone, I give it to. I'll probably give it to Sanji. Yeah.
Yeah, Sanji's a good pick.
All right, let's put up the poll. Let's see what the chat thinks of this. Conqueror's Clash. All right, you guys, you tell us, what do you think? The poll is up. I'm gonna pull the chat up actually on stream. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see it in real time. All right, but yeah, like I'm trying to think of in the meantime while we let the poll run a little bit. I'm trying to think of like. Do you think there's any other characters? This is a question I had before, but this is a good one to ask now. Are there any characters you think that don't currently have a devil fruit that might get one before the end of the story? Or at least that you'd like to see get one, like.
Well, technically, this is not a devil fruit, but I saw you had a theory on Frankie incorporating green blood, and that was fire. I love that idea. so if that, I guess that's not like a real devil fruit, but like that is a really good idea that I like.
Thanks,
I'm still waiting in general for Vegapunk to just interact with the Straw Hats and power them up, because there's so many different ways to do that.
Sure.
But outside of that, I think the Straw Hats are pretty set. Like, I did an entire video like giving the Straw Hats devil fruits that don't have one, so like I think there are some good options in there.
Yes.
What I think.
That's a reason I asked, by the way. Yeah. Because I know, like you've thought about this.
Yeah.
You know.
Because but like some of the fruits that I gave him were like people that were like Zoro. I picked Kizaru's fruit just to kind of balance out his swordsmanship, and give him that speed. Frankie actually went with Douglas Bullet's fruit. Because he was essentially able to dismantle and build stuff, and that feels like just a dream come true for Frankie.
That's overpowered. That would make Frankie.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be ridiculous. Oh my god! You give him Douglas Bullet's fruit, he's unstoppable.
Right?
Like, oh man, they're so lucky. Douglas was like not an engineer. They're so lucky the dude was just like a muscle head.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like the votes are in. Shanks 38, Sanji 62. GG, my friend. That is the first clash of the evening. No, I think I like both answers though. I mean, look, it's never gonna happen because obviously Sabo has the fruit, but either situation, if it did, those are like guaranteed to be like dope. They're like those are just cool combinations. So, very nicely done. All right, let's go to the next one. What do we got? Okay, are there any characters? This is an observation, Haki. Are there any characters that you think will survive until the end of One Piece? Despite people assuming they will die, like characters that people say will probably die that you think actually won't.
Let's think. Who do we think is actually gonna die? Cause
Garp, that's Shanks, Law are a bunch of them.
I don't think Shanks will die, because the popular theory is like Shanks gets killed by Blackbeard, right?
Yeah.
And like that takes Luffy to the next level. I don't think that, to me, never made sense, because like Luffy doesn't need any extra motivation against Blackbeard. Blackbeard is like one of two people that he genuinely has beef with, right?
Yeah.
If you think about all the people he's fought, it's mostly he arrives somewhere and he's like, hey, you're fucking up people that I like and my people that fed me and that were kind to me, so I'm gonna kick your ass, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like Akainu and Blackbeard, those are the two people that were responsible for a traumatic memory that he has.
Yes.
With his brother. Akainu literally has gave him an imprint to remember that. Blackbeard, obviously, you know, he saw him in Impelled Down and saw him in Marineford as well. So I don't really think he needs any extra motivation to take on Blackbeard. So Shanks is one I don't think will die. As far as other characters go, Garp is more recent, right? I don't think he dies off screen though. Like, not like off screen, but like not in the main area.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That would be crazy to see like Kuzan kill him on Beehive.
No,
like,
I don't think that's correct.
Yeah,
that's
right,
a wild like.
Like that just feels like a different story.
It feels like a different it wouldn't be the same Kuzan, I think. Like you know.
Like it would have to be some crazy thing. So I don't. Garp, if he does die, it would be like Final War. So like, I guess Law is a good one. Law, a lot of people said would die. Even in Wano.
Yeah.
That back then I was kind of arguing against it, because to me Law always because the main point people made was like after Dressrosa, Law had no purpose anymore, right? He did his thing, he got his revenge, and now like what's the purpose of Law? But to me it's like when he had that conversation with Sengoku, like he had his new purpose. Sengoku was literally like, you have the new life, you need to live, find your new purpose. And then he did. He's like, I'm gonna figure out the will of D, and I think he will end up doing that. I think the immortality surgery is kind of a red herring, I guess. I don't think we're actually gonna end up seeing it. I think we'll probably find out some more information about maybe how it was used in the past with like Emu potentially. So Law is the one I don't think will die, that a lot of people think since Wano.
That's a fair one. I think Law, out of all the ones we named, like Garp, I think is probably gonna die before the end of the story. I don't think it's gonna be like Aokiji kills him like right now. Yeah. But he'll probably not make it. And then Shanks is another one. It's like, if we're going with the typical story beats of an adventure story, it's like the mentor or inspiration figure has to die, and then that's how it always goes. But Law is he's just Luffy's peer. He doesn't have like some narrative relationship to Luffy that like necessitates him dying to like push Luffy forward in the plot. He also he has a goal of his own that can't really be realized by anyone besides himself. Because I was thinking about this, and I've always thought about the idea of like, if Law were to die, maybe Robin or his crew could pick up on where he left off with like finding out what the checkered fate of the Will of D is and all that stuff. But a whole reason why he wants to learn about that is specifically because he himself, like he is a D, and it's because of Corazon like telling him about all that stuff and his experience as like growing up as a D. I feel like that dream could not really be accomplished if he's dead and someone else did it on his behalf, because I mean, Robin is gonna find out what the D means anyway. So like, whether or not Law does it or not, like, yeah, we're gonna learn.
Wild sentence.
Oh, well.
Robin's gonna find out what the D means anyway.
I actually, hold on. I actually did not think about this enough. Okay,
man.
yeah, no, Robin's gonna learn. Robin's gonna learn, and we're gonna learn through Robin. So like, it doesn't make sense for like Law to die and then it be learned from someone else. Like, his goal is dependent on him. Like, he has to learn it. So
it wouldn't hit the same.
It wouldn't hit
like
the same.
somebody, yeah.
So I don't think Law is gonna die either. I think he'll probably make it to the end. Honestly, I feel like people are also expecting like Kid to die before the end of the story now after everything with Shanks, because I've seen people saying like Kid might like actually just be done or something. But like that's a much more minor and more recent one. I think that's like a recency bias thing. But I don't think he's gonna die either. I think Law and Kid are both gonna make it. They're gonna be chilling alongside Luffy by the end of the story.
Yeah,
is like how I feel.
Like his like competitive rivals, but like not really. But like, you know, they're having good friendly rivalry to like they're like old.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, cool. All right, what do we got here? We got all right, observation haki. Do you think we'll return to any previously visited islands before the story ends? What are some likely ones?
I think we have to. I'm not necessarily sure it's gonna be like an entire arc of like dedicated to revisiting an island. But I think there's probably gonna be like a revisitation just all throughout, like revisiting a lot of the islands we've been before. Sure. I think the most likely ones we have to is number one, Wano. Pluton is there. We also have some loose ends there in terms of the storyline that maybe gets tied up. Sure. And then the other one, I think, is probably Impel Down, because we free my man Bon Clay. Bon Clay needs to be freed. I feel like Doflamingo is just too good of a character to just sit in the sidelines for like the entirety of the final saga.
I feel like Alabasta is one that we have to be ready for.
That's a good one as well.
Just because, or rather, maybe we don't go there, but I think Alabasta might come back into relevancy, and we might like the Straw Hats might not go there, but we might spend some time there in the manga, especially because of what's going on right now at Marijois and like the Leloucia situation. Could it be possible that Alabasta gets blown up? Like, does it get nothing happen?
Damn. That's dark.
Yeah, it's dark. It's dark, but it's like also, you know, it's a real possibility right now, considering Eam seems to have a vendetta against Vivi for some reason with that picture. And then after what happened to Cobra at the Reverie, if it has come to light that the Nefertari family is working directly with Monkey D. Luffy to some capacity, that might be all the go-ahead they need to wipe out that island. So, you know, especially if Luffy, like if the world government ends up being put in a position where like Luffy, I don't know, like something about Gear 5 or the D Clan like becomes more public, because they're obviously trying to hide it right now, and the Egghead situation is coming to a head. So something crazy maybe regarding Luffy or regarding the Void Sentry might become public knowledge pretty soon. So
have you seen Morge's theory on that? The great incident is actually the punk records leaking out to the world.
That I did not
starts know. So essentially the idea that he sets up is the punk records is like literally the internet, essentially, right? It contains all of this knowledge, including everything O'Hara learned and everything that happened there as well. So his idea is like this great incident in order to kick up this revolution, which, like, to me, until I heard this idea, I was always imagining, okay, we get to Laugh Tale, find out the truth about everything, and then that spreads across the world, and we get to the final war. Sure. But he explains that, like, that doesn't quite seem realistic, because, like, Luffy's never been the type of person to, like, been like, oh, we gotta get this news out to everybody or something like that, right? So instead, he's thinking this great incident is the punk records somehow, like, that information spreading to the rest of the world. Okay. His theory was like it literally gets destroyed and then somehow just gets injected into everyone's brains. I think that's a little unlikely. So that part of the theory, I was like, I don't know about that.
Right, there's a little,
the idea, we gotta polish some stuff there, I think. But the idea that the Punk
premise.
Records is this device that, you know, gets the information out and that kickstarts the revolution into this final saga. I really
That's
like
a
that
sick idea. That's a great idea. Yeah. So like, yeah, because think about that, right? Like, because they are giving us a countdown specifically on Punk Records, right? Because we haven't gotten the countdown with these other chapters. It wasn't like we saw what happened with Law or with Kid on Elbaf, and it's like 2 days until the incident or whatever, and it's like only on Egghead. So whatever happens is gonna have to happen there. It's gonna have to be something related to that location. It has to be a huge thing that I can only. Yeah, I mean, if the world does learn about the Void Century through, maybe they wouldn't learn about the Void Century, but maybe they learn about what happened at O'Hara.
O'Hara. That in
that's,
itself is huge.
That's enough. That's more than enough. That's probably enough to spark revolution in a lot of places all at once. So that's a good point. Okay, all right. See, this is what I was talking about, bro. We have all the Conquerors ones now. They're right at the end. So now we got another one here. So get ready. Conquerors Haki. Pick 3 One Piece characters and form a Nightmare Blunt rotation.
A Nightmare Blunt rotation.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you take this one first. I'm gonna need a little time to.
All right, yeah,
think
3
this
One
one
Piece
over.
characters in my Nightmare Blunt rotation. All right, let's see. Probably Avalo Pizarro making cat puns in between every sentence would probably be probably not be appreciated. So yeah, maybe Avalo Pizarro, Treble, Treble, and Charlos are probably my 3. So yeah, those are. Hold on, let me think. I want to give like a better. I feel like those are the easiest answers, but
No, Treble's got to be in there.
Treble's
We'll
got to
lock
be
him
in there, right?
Yeah, we'll lock him in. you gotta get through the snot and everything.
Yeah.
Treble, we'll lock in Treble for both of us. So we'll have 2 more after that.
Yeah, ZMP says happy 420. Yeah, that's why I threw the question in there. I had to get at least one 420 related question in the mix. Okay, so yeah, my 3 will probably be actually not Avalo Pizarro. I'm gonna do Vasco Shot. I'm gonna do All right, Vasco Shot, Treble, and Charlos are my 3. That's my Nightmare Blunt rotation right there.
Okay, let me think about this.
I knew this would put you on the spot. This is a tough one. This is the deepest question we got.
I think the second one I would put in there is Foxy.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I would throw Foxy in there.
Okay.
Oh man. So yeah, Treble, Foxy, and I'm trying to think of like an early villain. Like a Don Krieg is coming to mind.
What do you think about Parasparrow? Someone's saying Parasparrow. That's a
Parasparrow.
That's a bad one.
That's a good one too.
Vegapunk.
Oh, you know what? Caribou. Caribou's a good one.
Oh, Caribou.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's got a Treble, Caribou, and Foxy.
Okay.
That's a pretty brutal one.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it up to the chat. Nightmare Blunt rotation. All right. So yours were Treble, Caribou, Foxy, and mine was. I love how Treble is like unanimously like no one wants him in the rotation.
No. That is the worst.
Vasco, Treble, Vasco, and then Charlos, right? I think those are the 3 I said. All right, let's see. Treble wins the award after this one for the worst addition to any blunt rotation. This is scientifically proven after this stream. All right, let's see. Let's pull this up so that the VOD can have the poll. I'm trying to think of other. So, all right, Dream Blunt rotation. While we're waiting for this, my man Smoker, my man Green Bull. So that just gonna put that out there. Those guys, the Marines,
Sanji's got to be in there.
Oh, Sanji's got to be in there too. Yeah, well, no, I mean Sanji might get all like hopeless romantic, and he might start like like giving us. I don't know. I feel like Sanji might just get weird,
true.
you know? He might just
say a Kainu too, but he might get a little too aggressive.
Yeah,
maybe that'll mellow him out though. Maybe it'll mellow him out.
That's what he keeps Green Bull
side.
That's what Green Bull's around for, bro. That's what do you think goes on at Marine HQ when they got nothing going on all day? Someone says caribou slobbering the blunt bad breath. Oh man, smoker beige for the dream rotation. I love this conversation. This is what we should be talking about in One Piece, guys. I love how creative you guys are getting. People are saying they're both cursed.
Crocodile would be a
Crocodile, yeah. Crocodile, smoker, Akainu, Pedro, beige, smoker. Yeah, all right. It seems like we're all on the same page. I have no idea how these polls aren't like neck and neck, because they're like there's a little bit of a gap, but like I feel like these are both equally terrible. I would not I would not like to smoke with any of these guys. We'll call it there. All right, nice. Second Conqueror's Clash. I know it's funny because I said that the Conqueror's questions would be like the really deep, like heavy hitters, and then I had the Nightmare Blunt rotation one. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll start wrapping things up.
Cool.
So I think, because I don't know how many more we got. All right, so we actually got a Voice of All Things prompt. That's our first one of the day. So now anyone who's been saving up a good question to ask us, feel free to hit the chat with them, and then I'll pick a good one. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about 1081, bro. While we're waiting for people to submit their responses, how do you feel about this chapter? Do you think you think we're getting set up here for the next chapter? Like, what are your predictions based off of how this one went?
Well, yeah, I was surprised we didn't go back to Egghead. I thought this chapter we were gonna go back to Egghead and start to build that back up. But hey, we're just continuing off of this Garp and Kuzan stuff, and it's phenomenal. The most interesting part to me was the Kuzan stuff. Obviously the man with the burn scars obviously is like super interesting in terms of like speculation and theory, but like character wise, seeing the way he interacted this chapter was really surprising, right?
Yeah, man.
Like he just shows up to this was before he joined. He just shows up and he's just like kicking it back and have a great time with these other pirates, and it's a side of Kuzan that we haven't really seen, at least like recently. Maybe we saw like a glimpse of that during like the flashback when he was like an underling under Garb, and he's like, Garb, you're so cool and stuff like that. But this side of Kuzan we have not seen at all really since we met him in the present story. So that had me definitely questioning a bit on what his ultimate motives are. I still feel like, given the conversation he had with Smoker where he was like, I'm still me, I haven't lost my way, I feel like he still is doing it in his own way, but I'm not sure, because like after we learned about Sword the chapter before, I actually didn't think Kuzan was in Sword anymore. To me, when we learned about Sword, I was like, oh, okay, it's not quite the secretive organization that we thought of. It's still secretive, but like within the Marines, like the Fleet Admiral and the Admirals are still gonna know about it.
They know about it, yeah.
And it's not like this secretive thing like going up against the world government, like Sword versus Shield, as opposed where it's just like, it's like you have Shield and then this is your sword, where like these like essentially Marines that you can cut off anytime and you could just go use them to attack pirates. So I actually believe that explanation of what Sword is.
Fair.
But my perspective on Kuzan already started to shift from that chapter. I was like, maybe he's got connections to the Revolutionary Army. But after this chapter, I feel like the way he acted and the way he's reminiscing now, it feels like that would have been too good of an acting job for him to get in that way, because like he didn't even say let me join you. He got invited on. Right? Like, so I think he's kind of just gone rogue. I don't think he's like lost his way like Garp is saying in this chapter. But I think he's kind of just trying to pursue justice in his own way, and ultimately he will like be like part of the downfall of the Blackbeard pirates and taking them down from within. But I think it's a really interesting spin if this is actually, what we're seeing on the surface is actually true of like how Kuzan came to join the Blackbeard pirates. Because like off rip, everybody was like, oh, part of Sword, part of Revolutionaries, and it seems like he's just like really doing his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was I was one of those guys. I was so dead set on him being like a sword operative, but
Yeah, same.
I had to do a double take when I was reading the chapter. I legit like scrolled down and I had to scroll back up, and I was like, wait a second, they are getting along very well
Right?
here.
Kicking it back.
Yeah, like they're chilling. Like there's no way you're telling me this whole time Kuzan's actually been boys with Blackbeard. Like
Yeah, that's what I
like,
thought at
wait.
first. I was like, is he like actually a villain? Like he's
Yeah.
been like kicking it back from Blackbeard since day one or something?
Yeah, crazy. Like, yeah. In retrospect, maybe that's what Oda was going for. Maybe the red herring was sword, and then we're supposed to think, oh,
Yeah.
okay, there's this whole operation. Therefore, there's no way Kuzan could be actually working with them. And it's like, no, maybe he actually is a tortured soul right now, and he's like kind of in his he's in his mood, and he's like he made some friends that like, you know, because he was kind of just bumming around before that. So yeah. All right, so we got voice of all things now. Let's see what questions rolled in. I saw one that I thought was pretty simple and nice. Do you see any that stand out to you? I saw one that I liked. Name your top 3 character designs in the series. I feel like I never get to talk about character designs on here, so that'd be a good one.
I see if somebody asking if should Luffy be dead by the end of the story.
Oh, answer that. Tell me what you think about that.
I get the point, like the reflection of, you know, Roger, and I've seen the arguments for it.
Yeah.
For me, I think it wouldn't quite, at least at his current age, it wouldn't make sense because there's so much more to explore. Actually, you know what? Like in general, I don't think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like I think there's so much more to, like, it's crazy that we have to just keep in perspective. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
He is
very true.
A Yago at age 19, and even the rest of the crew is like, they're like 20. Like the oldest one is obviously Jinbei, but even Jinbei's like 48 or something like that. He's got some time left. So I think there's a lot more to explore for them, a lot more adventures for them to do to accomplish other Straw Hats' dreams, like Nami's dream and like Frankie's dream as well. So I don't think we end on this like note of like Luffy dying in the end, because I don't think, number one, it doesn't make sense for him at his current age, and then at the, when it's all said and done, I don't see necessarily a reason for him to give himself in and just end his adventure like that. I think he could there'll be a lot more that he could do and that he'll be satisfied with. And like a scene that I think could hit really hard is like, we do get a flash forward, is maybe we see the Straw Hats' eventual retirement and disbandment.
Yes.
That in itself would hit like on an emotional note really highly. And I just don't see the need really for Luffy to all of a sudden die to end the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the disbanding of the Straw Hats makes more sense as a finale for the crew than having like Luffy die. Because like, excuse me, the reason that the Roger Pirates had to disband was because Roger was dying, and that's what onset the disbandment of the crew. But we may not have that scenario here, and I feel like it would just be I feel like it would be redundant, and it would also kind of defeat the messaging of the story to have Luffy, this guy who like prioritizes freedom above all else, to end the story by just dying to something completely out of his control. That feels like the opposite of freedom to me. And it's like he fought so hard to earn the rewards of becoming Pirate King and partying and enjoying his time on the sea. Why shouldn't he be able to enjoy that? I feel like for a satisfying One Piece-esque ending, you need to have all the main characters get what they deserve. And because like, what else are they gonna get after 1300 chapters? They should be what they deserve, as like, they're all good people, they're all heroes. So I don't think Luffy should get like executed or should die to some disease. Maybe they disband, they all go on their own separate ways, and they all have their own various dreams that they get to live out now that they're, the world is much more free, the government's not chasing them down, they're not wanted criminals anymore. Maybe they're all regarded as heroes, but I think that can all happen, and the crew can disband without Luffy having to go. But yeah, I agree with that. And real quick, just because I want to also answer this one that I like, the top 3 character designs, I'll just quickly throw 3 out there. I think King is a top 3 design for me personally. I love his character design, and it's one of the reasons I was a little bit disappointed in like how little screen time he got ultimately now that we're done with Wano, because I wanted more out of him. I wanted like kind of like the Katakuri level of hype to King, but we didn't get that. But King's up there. Doflamingo, easily top 3 designs, and then
iconic.
Blackbeard. Yeah,
Blackbeard. Okay.
Blackbeard. Yeah, Blackbeard for me because I really like the Golden Age pirate aesthetic. Like every other character in One Piece is a pirate, but they don't look like the pirates that we've come to like expect out of like that Golden Age, like the 1600s, like that era of like Caribbean pirates. Blackbeard captures that perfectly. And like we saw recently on Full Lead Island, like the room he's chilling in, like he has like a noose on the ceiling. He has like posters on the wall. There's like knocked over like bottles. There's like a knife on the table. There's an open treasure chest.
Women around him.
Just like women, like it's the most pirate thing I've ever seen, and that's just so badass to me. Like it's cool to see that. So.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I'm surprised you didn't say Katakuri, because it's just like.
Yeah. I like his design. It's not. I like his design a lot. I think for me, it's like the vest. I don't know. It's like it's okay. It's like it's a little bit silly to me, partially.
Okay.
He's like a kind of like reminds me of like the biker from the SpongeBob movie. Like I don't know. Like that's how he kind of reminds me. The spurs and the leather.
Yeah. It's like it's just like its own thing, which I feel like it was pretty cool. Crocodile, obviously, just like the mafia boss type of vibe, iconic. And I would say like Sanji, just that suit just hits. It just works,
Yeah.
Classy. It works with the personality.
The Onigashima Sanji fit is so.
Oh yeah.
So
that
clean.
Suit is clean.
So clean. Yo, Killer, thank you so much for the 10 gift memberships, bro. I don't think I saw you in the stream earlier. So what's up, Killer Comedy? Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you were able to make it, bro. Also, Ronnie, thank you for the 20. He goes, about to get in the car. Don't worry, I won't text this time. Just listening in. But since I was late, thoughts on the chapter. So we were just talking about our thoughts on the new chapter. I'll give you a quick recap of that. But basically, seems like we were both surprised at Aokiji kind of being homies with Blackbeard and actually like the allegiances we thought he had before were kind of turned on their head with this chapter. So I think the most exciting part about this most recent one was like getting to see more of like Aokiji's motivations and his interactions with the Blackbeard pirates, and also just seeing the Blackbeard pirates like interact like a crew was really cool. So yeah, those are my thoughts. If you wanted to give some extra thoughts, King, you feel free.
But yeah, no, it's the Kuzan stuff.
Yeah,
that definitely. That hit home the most for me, for sure. It's just like seeing interaction and like also seeing them fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, seeing them duke it out and like just body the Blackbeard pirates like twice in one flashback.
Yeah, right.
As well, like the initial introduction to realize he was there, him just freezing Hibari. Like we see this like little panel of Garp being shocked. It's like, what's he looking at? And then next panel, scroll down, Hibari's just frozen over. That was hype.
That was hype.
Like, that was so hype.
Also, like a San Juan Wolf too, like the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw San Juan Wolf, like
whoa.
Like frozen solid, like in one go.
Oh man, that was crazy. Cause like this is one of those chapters once again where it's like people were like, okay, stay away from the spoilers.
Yeah.
And I'm like reading the chapter, I'm like, okay, it's like it's going like we're getting more Garp, and then once we saw that ice, it's just like okay, it's about to go down.
Were you able to dodge the title that was like in the middle of the page, or were you like the title of the chapter?
I didn't see the title. I glanced over it, so I was good.
Nice, me too. I was able to dodge it, so I didn't know in advance. That was pretty cool. But yeah, thank you. Thanks again, Ronnie. Yeah, definitely don't text and drive. Appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for the help, Obi. Or thank you for the support, Obi. All right, cool. We got all right, this is one I've also kept. This has been in CONQUEROR'S CLASH before, but I really do like this question. Armament haki. What is your most rewatched scene and why? Like, what's the scene in One Piece you rewatched?
Oh,
like
the scene I've rewatched the most is actually the Going Mary's death, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that one hit.
Yeah,
that one hit. I've rewatched it and cried. Like,
yeah.
It's just one of those things. Is like, let me just like remind myself how like, because that scene in the anime is like why you gotta watch the anime. To hear Mary actually speak, that hit so hard. And like, I think that's probably the scene I've rewatched the most. And it's just like, you have scenes that you go back and watch, and but like, I just like, it's an underrated one that I find myself going back to more often than some of the other ones.
Goated scene. If okay, so if that's a good one that gets you emotional, I'll give you one that gets me crying every time. Like, I legit can't watch this scene. Like, it's, if I ever need to remind myself like how emotionally invested One Piece can get me, I always rewatch Whitebeard's death at Marineford, and like his final moments where he calls Teach a fool, and he talks about, he basically says goodbye to his sons, and like you have that, like, up until that point there was a couple times it flashed back where you saw him with his original crew and they were asking him what treasure he wanted, and like what what was his treasure. And you never get the answer until like he's about to die, and then it cuts to him and he says family, and then you see like in the anime adaptation like the waves come up over his face and he says goodbye my sons, and then he just stands there. You see the whole crew like walking towards the camera, and then the crew gets bigger and bigger, and he's like, we've had a long journey. That, every single time I watch that, it just absolute gut punch, and I've seen it so many times. Such a good scene.
It's a lot of those like that, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, well, One Piece is full of that. It's that's why we made YouTube channels. I'm sure it's like those scenes are what sold us on it. So, all right, so we got a Conqueror's Haki question, and I think this is a good one to finish on. That being that it is a Conqueror's Haki. So let's do this one. Scenario: Luffy is never born. Who would you want to become Pirate King instead?
So the answer is Buggy. It's gotta be Buggy.
That was a snap call right there.
Yeah. I think the answer has to be Buggy. The way, I love the gag that he's gotten this far to become a Yonko. I think there's even a potential that he makes it to Laugh Tale, and like somehow news gets out that he's become the Pirate King first, and then eventually we find out the truth. But the gag is perfect. If Luffy's not gonna be the Pirate King, I want it to be Buggy. I don't like other people like Blackbeard. Like, there's other competitors, villains. Buggy makes the most sense. I don't think it could be anybody else. I don't even think it's close. It's got to be Buggy.
Wow. I don't know how I'm gonna beat that. Actually, that's a sick answer. That's a sick answer. Buggy is a good one because it would actually work. Like, you could actually see him failing upward there instead of Luffy. Shit. What's it? Oh man. I think this poll is going to you, my friend. I'm gonna say something like Shanks or something, but like Shanks is not as hype as Buggy. If Buggy was Pirate King, I'd be hyping that way more. Yeah, I guess. Here, give me a second. Let me think about this. Go ahead.
Go for it, man.
Ace is too boring of an answer. Although I think it would probably happen that way just because he's Roger's kid. But
yeah.
No, let's not say Ace. Let's not say like the obvious, like Ace, Whitebeard. No, Blackbeard.
You gotta go like heavy meme. I feel like
heavy meme,
like
right?
Gaimon, like
Condoriano.
So we say Gaimon.
Gaimon. Yeah, Gaimon. Okay. Actually, legit, like, man. That's the thing. It has to be current timeline. I'll be real with you, man. I would actually be totally down for someone like Noland to become Pirate King or something. But he's technically not a pirate. He's also not alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. I'm gonna give my meme pick because I can't think of one that beats Buggy in my mind. I'll go with Gaimon just because. Okay, hold on. Because the reason that I say Gaimon, okay, roll with me here, is because I think Gaimon and his island are a symbol for Laugh Tale. They're like a metaphor for Laugh Tale.
Yep.
So technically, out of everyone who's closest to the One Piece, at least symbolically, we got to give it to Gaimon there, because he's been sitting there waiting for his treasures on top of that mountain his whole life. I don't know anyone else who would have done that. My dude sat there.
Dedication.
That's dedication. That was what, 20 years? Okay, so I'm just anticipating you cook me on this, but okay, pirate. But I have to say something. That Buggy one was too clean. All right,
Oh, man.
Gaimon. All right. Cool. So while we let this run, we'll wind things down here. So, King, bro, did you enjoy the stream today, man? Did you?
Yeah, it was really fun, man. A lot of great prompts there. The pacing was good. Yeah, it was
Cool,
really
man.
good conversation, man.
Cool. Yeah, I really I wanted this to be. I feel like this is like something that's good to just have as like to break up the weekly discussions, because sometimes we get caught up in like the recent stuff. It's cool to go back and like revisit old things every once in a while, you know.
For sure.
What do you think about the rest of One Piece, like from here on out? Like, do you think we have a lot more to go? Do you think like how many more chances do you think we're gonna be able to do this sort of thing? Like, we got like another year or two. We got more. What do you think?
I think like time wise is gonna be still a good amount of time. I think in terms of like the story, like it's probably more compact than people think. Because I've seen like theories that like things really switch up and like Luffy gets captured and all, like where things get really off the rail. I think there's gonna be a straight line there. But I still think time wise, that's at least another 5 years. It just feels like with these breaks and like things that pop up unexpectedly, either in the real world or for Oda, like he's probably got things like very together at this point, because like the pacing in Egghead has been like, it's like a different story, like how like every chapter is just action packed, right? So I think he's done a much better time since that break with like really, you know, like mapping out what he wants this final saga to be. But I'm sure like when we get to like another island or another character's storyline, he's gonna be like, oh, I gotta add this in, and things are just gonna get dragged out a little longer. So I would say at least probably another 5 years.
Yeah, that's honest. The thing. The reason I'm asking is because like these past couple chapters have been moving at such like a breakneck, you know, speed that it's almost like raising the question, like, are we going to continue at this pace for the rest? You know, like, are we slowing back down? That's the thing. And every successive chapter is bringing that question up more and more. So like,
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I just feel like there are certain things like Luffy and Shanks, the Straw Hats versus Blackbeard Pirates, and of course when we finally learn about everything, those are things that he has to like really kind of slow the pace down for, and like bring it back to like a more normal pace to
for sure
develop that a lot more, you know.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think this is a good place to call things, and I very much enjoyed our conversation today, brother. Is there anything you'd like to say to chat, or like anything that you got coming out soon, or anything you're working on? Just, you know, feel free to like promote yourself, put yourself out there for everyone.
Sure, but yeah, chat. This was a super fun stream. You guys were great. I love the comments you guys were and the questions you guys gave us. As far as something coming up, I've been trying to organize a power. I think it's a good time to do a top 30, and I want to hand you out live on stream an invitation to you as well, as long as the schedule could work out. I'm probably aiming within the next week or so, the next weekend.
Cool.
So be on the look. That's probably the next big event that I'm planning on the channel, because I think it's like a top 30 stream right now is gonna have a lot of interesting discussions. So I'll hit you up on that. We'll work something out for sure.
Sounds good, bro. All right, guys. Well, I see Phantom's posting King's links in the chat there, so make sure to hit all those links. Give him your subscriptions. Hit up the Discord, all that stuff. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you to everyone for the super chats, the gift memberships. You guys are awesome. Let me just give a final a welcome to all the new members. Everyone, thank you so much. The One Piece is real. The One Piece is real, baby. All right, guys. Well, with that out of the way, bye everyone. I will see you guys next time. And I'm D. This has been Hidden Island, and I'm D King. Catch you guys later.